There are two rules in our modern lives. Everything has to be easy and fast. In life, we look for simplicity. And in our generation, simplicity equals AI. For any creator that lives in this world, there is always one problem we cannot solve. Time. And for me, as a 3D creator, I spent most of my time modeling and texturing. What if these processes could be simplified in just one click? Oh, this could save us so much time. So I spent day and night searching in the deepest abyss of the internet for the perfect tool to solve this problem. Until one day... In reality, this is not what happened. A friend of mine told me about this tool at school. But for the sake of the storytelling of this video, let's pretend it is true. Okay, let's continue. Until one day, I found Meshi AI. Now that we have the missing piece, it was time for the real test. Would this tool actually work well for animation? But before that, I have to brainstorm about what I want to create. After looking at my surroundings, I saw this nutcracker looking at the window, which inspired me to create a couple of wooden toys sitting behind the window of a snowy cabin. So let me get my notebook and my pencil and start sketching.
I don't need no more good reasons to leave the seasons. This breezes Jesus, the seizures about as cool as my t-shirt. This chick is old school like Shelto Adidas. She feed me shellfish, I need it. Since I don't eat beef or chicken, pork always bleeding. Y'all had enough of your summer, go leave and go back to Bummer, Ohio. Why only wild out on the weekend? I'm on a surface safari with a stunner for certain. Sir, I'm sorry if you only thought of putting just your feet in.
Now that the sketch is done, let's start working on the project and see what we can come up with. First, I went into my favorite tool to do my math homework and asked ChatGPT for a text prompt to describe my wooden toys. And this is what it came up with. After reviewing some of the prompt descriptions and making some small adjustments, I was happy with the result, so I decided to proceed to the next step. Now we can take this prompt and put it into the Microsoft image generator to see if this is what we want. Maybe we should tweak some prompts until we get an image that we like. It took me a couple of tries to finally get an image I was more or less happy with. Finally, I downloaded the images to go to the next step. And here's where it gets interesting, because with Meshi AI, you can generate 3D models in two ways. One, with a text prompt, and two, with an image. Because I already have the reference images from the Microsoft image generator, I used the second method to generate my 3D models. It took me quite some tries to get it right, and he used up all of my free credits, trying to experiment and get the best model possible. As you can see, some of these textures ended up looking very creepy, especially for the girl's wooden toy. I doubted if I could use it for the final render, but anyway, I downloaded both just in case. Now we're ready for the third step, Blender. First, I started working on the environment. I looked at my sketch of reference, but mostly improvised it. This is not because the sketch is bad, okay? Well, it is, but I started by modeling the cabin and adding details like icicles and lights, so it looked somewhat realistic. Once the cabin was done, I continued with the rest of the environment, like the snow ground, vegetation, and some particles to simulate falling snow. I also added images of mountains in the background and some fog to create an atmosphere. Oh, and I also used the real snow add-on to cover everything in snow. After that, I took some materials to make them more winterish. Then it was time to work on the characters. I rigged and animated the characters using Mixamo. Yes, I was a bit lazy for this project, but then this happened. So yeah, I completely scrapped the other model and only worked with this one, Meat Chip. After that, I added some props to make the scene look full. This is almost done. It is looking pretty cool. I did some camera animation and hit render. And finally, went to sleep. The next day, I finished the animation with some post-production in DaVinci Resolve And this is the final result. Hope you like it as much as I do. See you in the next one. Bye.